Thanks for joining us. It's Tuesday Live. I am Omini Odan. Poverty and unemployment are said to be a two-sided of the coin that slow the pace of growth and development of nations. It's against this that entrepreneurship, seen as the engine for job creation, innovation and diversification, is being pursued. Stand taken seriously by government that is yielding results. The frontline agency in this regard is the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, that has, among other things, been empowering the citizenry through loans and provision of startups, kits for self-reliance that will translate to the growth of the nation's gross domestic product, GDP. Move for Nigerians through the complementary efforts of the National Women's Center for Development as part of its empowerment programs in improving the lives of the people. To the credit are trained women on tiling, bricks laying, and other construction works dominated in the past by men. Analysts believe that all the efforts are geared towards building a stronger Nigeria and to step more actions to actualize President Muhammadu Buhari's resolve to uplift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Where are other areas of synergy for more effective results? How well are Nigerians keen into these? Answers and more tonight on NTA Tuesday Live after this background report by Onenge Fineface.
Federal government intends to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. To achieve this feat, several programs have been initiated to create sustainable jobs for the people, especially youth. National Social Investment Program is one of the foremost initiatives in place to this effect. Through the program, several Nigerians have accessed the Trader Money Loan to start small businesses and expand existing ones. Policies are also formulated to encourage greater investment and participation in agriculture and agri-businesses. For instance, to promote agricultural production in the country, the federal government placed a ban on the importation of some food items like rice. This has raised the bar in agricultural production, created more jobs for Nigerians and contributed to food security in the country. Commodity pyramids for which Nigeria was famous are already rising due to the policies designed to promote more investments in agriculture. Very important is the closure of Nigeria's borders to checkmate illegal importation of banned products and smuggling of commodities at the expense of the nation's economy.
Smuggling, there is no way we can achieve self-sufficiency in rice. With smuggling, there is no way the rice mills will survive. With smuggling, Nigeria will continue to be importer of rice forever.
In line with contemporary business practices, Nigeria also adopted new trends in information and communication technology. This was illustrated in the transmutation of the Federal Ministry of Communications to Communications and Digital Economy. The transmutation opened new vistas of opportunities for jobs in ICT as a viable sector of the economy. Of a more immediate impact is the trainings provided by the National Directorate of Employment, NDE. In 2017, the NDE trained and provided jobs and support services to 409,488 Nigerians. The NDE achieved this through programs such as trainings in vocational and technical skills acquisition, rural employment promotion, trainings in entrepreneurship, transient and labor-based jobs, job centers, loans, and collaboration with other agencies. In 2018, a total of 239,126 persons benefited from various schemes of the NDE, which include Basic National Open Apprenticeship, trainings in cosmetology, Sustainable Agricultural Training Scheme, food processing and packaging, beautification training, solar energy trainings, graduate special trainings, among others. Similarly, trainings were carried out in 2019, producing 294,115 beneficiaries.
The National Council for Women's Societies, NCWS Nigeria, has watched your impressive record to train youth to have prerequisite life skills and tools to earn a living as a way to alleviate poverty. In recent years, under your creative leadership, the agency has developed several strands and entrepreneurial program.
The women are making the washing up liquid, and we've organized and supply the hospital. Yes, it's incredible, the difference. And what amazed me was the number of the women that actually did turn up and learned new skills which they've used to empower themselves and enrich their families. So on behalf of all of them in Kwara and all the other states, let me thank NDE for that.
With support from some state governments, the National Directorate of Employment has also provided demand-driven training services for youth and women in some states of the country, several of which have been concluded as at February 2020.
And the fact that we know women are vulnerable, we also have a program called MIS, Micro Enterprises Enhancement Scheme, whereby we meet these mothers at the grassroots whose capital is no more than 5,000 or so. We go in, give her direct interest-free loan of 10,000 naira. As far as issue of tackling unemployment is concerned, wherever we need to collaborate, we will go and we'll have the collaboration.
National Center for Women Development is another organization that has contributed to the attainment of the vision of the federal government to create 100 million jobs in 10 years.
If you are a trainee, you train in tiling, you start working as a trainer, as a tiler, you have your clients coming, it boosts you, make money, make your income, and it revert back to the society. And that takes us to what we have like unpaid economic care workers.
The center has trained and empowered several women from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Beneficiaries of NCWD empowerment programs are trained as artisans in generator repairs, plumbing, pipe fitting, tiling, masonry, and air conditioner repairs. While empowering women to become financially independent, self-employed citizens, the crafts they acquire also help them to break gender barriers by thriving in hitherto male-dominated professions.
Because we have this unemployment issue here in Nigeria, if we open our own workshops here, we can at least employ some other people here.
100 million jobs is a lofty dream, but with the little steps taken each day by agencies of government, the future seems promising. In Abuja, Onengie Fine Face.
The National Directorate of Employment and Job Creation in Nigeria is the focus of Tuesday Live tonight. Our Onengie Fine Face report sets the tone for the takeoff of the program tonight. At some point on the program, we shall bring you reports across the country from our stations and some centers. And also, along the program, we shall open our phone lines, and your phone, if you put your phone call through, turn down the volume of your television set to avoid the hallback. And when you make your call, raise your concerns, raise your questions, and we shall try to address them appropriately. Also, you can be part of the conversation through our Twitter handle at Tuesday Live NTA. Send in your tweets, and we shall address them. Well, my team of guests are in the studio. Today we shall be doing Abuja and Lagos. From Abuja, we have the Director General, National Director of Employment, NDE, Dr. Nasiru Ladan Mohammed Arungu. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Mary Ekpere Etta, Director General, National Center for Women Development, NCWD. She's also a legal practitioner. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Abubakar Yunusa Ahmad, representing Yamal Tudiba Federal Constituency of Gombe State at the Federal House of Representatives. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
He's also a member of the House Committee on AIDS, Debts and Loans. Good to have you once again. And from our Lagos studios, we have Professor Shade Akosun, Director, Entrepreneurship Research and Development Center of the Kaduna State Polytechnic. Welcome to Tuesday Live.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Just to correct, I'm Professor of Economics from Kaduna State University.
Welcome once again. It's a pleasure having you, gentlemen. Let's begin. Key to whatever we are doing, if you take a critical look at when NDE took off, has been data. And that's one of the core mandates of NDE. And it says clearly that one of your mandates to obtain and maintain a data bank on employment and vacancies in the country with a view to acting as a clearinghouse to link job seekers with vacancies in collaboration with other government agencies. On track?
Well, thank you very much. Right. If I take you back to memory lane, you know NDE has been in existence for the past 34 years. Apart from our corporate head office, we have 6 zonal offices. We have 36 states, 37 including FCT. Out of the 774 local governments, we have 691 desk officers. In terms of our facilities, we have 125 vocational skill development centers all over the Federation. We have 75 agri-training centers. We have 2 giant agri-parks with dormitory facilities, one in Okanu, Ondo State, one in Sabwa, Katsina State. Some of us that are old enough in the early 80s and late 90s were all our so-called school on wheels. Right now we have 26 of them that are functional. We have what we call common facility centers, which we normally build and hand over to community based on what they want to produce, and we have 10 of them. So if you look at our widespread, as far as issue of job creation, provision of employment, NDE is the heartbeat. And as some of us are aware, the mandate given to us by the government is to create jobs and provide employment. I have been in NDE for almost 3 years now. And once I was appointed as the DG NDE, the first thing I did is to try as much as I can to find out the magnitude of unemployment. Because it is only when you realize the magnitude of the problem, then you can start planning on how to solve the problems. And I decided to run to government agencies like NCC, Galaxy Backbone, NIDA, NIMSI, NatComSat, an Office of the Statistician of the Federation. And I got what I was looking for from NIMSI, zone by zone, state by state. And I was shocked because what I found is beyond my wildest imagination. So we have to come back to the drawing table. As at then, NDE was training in over 80 different trades. But I decided to streamline everything to just about 16 based on demand driven. Yes, the question you asked, as far as being the linkage between employers and employees and keeping out the data, exactly this is part of what we are supposed to do. And after due consultations, we realized that a lot of our young men and women are risking their lives in trying to get to Europe for a greener pasture. Most of them died within the Mediterranean Sea or Sahara Desert. And we came up with what we call NDEI, NDE International. The aim of this unit is to try as much as we can to minimize their movement. We cannot stop them from trying to get to Europe. But we tried as much as we can to make sure that even if they are going, they can go in dignity and style. We created a website, www.nde.org.org, for anybody that is interested, because we have that robot website, so that they can go in, key in, put in all their data, and we open the whole portal to the whole world, so that anybody that is looking for any form of skill, semi-skill, on-skill from Nigeria, he can just go in there. So that whosoever wants to go to anywhere to work, we'll ensure that we monitor him, we link him to that individual organization through their various embassies. So that, as I said, they travel in style and in dignity, and that their interests will be protected as far as what they are supposed to be paid. And the whole aim is to try as much as we can to eliminate middlemen, so-called traffickers. So it's part of what we're doing. And if you look at our other departments, we have 4 departments in NDE. We have the vocational skill development, under which we have programs that we call Mega BNOS, Mega Basic National Open Apprentice Scheme. This is a program that involves mainly training young men and women in various trades. What we normally do, the fact that we are virtually everywhere, we issue out forms and there is no parental treatment as far as ND is concerned. You go to any of our offices at the state or at local government, pick a form, fill it, indicate the trade you want us to train you. We give you ID card, attendant register, and logbook. We look for a very good artisan or master crafter and attach you to him. We collect your bank details, including your BBN number. The only condition is to attend your place of work at least 20 times in a month. That will qualify you
20 times
in a month. That will qualify you to get the stipends that we normally pay. And one good thing about it, we are able to succeed because we don't move anybody. We leave you within your locality. We train you there. After you train, we give you startup pack so that you can be on your own. Because we realize by the time you train somebody on a trade, after he graduated, you did not give him working tools or startup packs. You have wasted his time and your own time. Out of the total number we train within 3 years, I tell you, my brother, when I came to NDE 2015, 2016, and early part of 2017, because I came to NDE exactly on the 18th of April 2017, the total number of people that were trained are just 14,008. But as I'm talking to you, the number of
right
people
from
2014, 2015, 2016, and early part of 2017.
Okay.
But when I came to NDE on the 18th of April to date, we have hit a figure of 1,068,093.
Okay, let me hold you there. Honorable, he has reeled out mind-blowing statistics and what ND has done so far, given the number of years that existed within the short time as DG. Skills acquisition, training in the front burner, and employment creation. And within the focus of what we are doing tonight, which is NDE and job creation in Nigeria, the question of employability and self-employment is always a concern. What's your take on this?
Well,
as much as what the DG has said,
we heard what he said.
employability
is really commendable,
okay,
but to me is far from being enough.
Okay.
Considering the target we set ourselves. My sister is here, probably when she come up with their own, what they are doing in the women, the Center for Women Development, I hope is going to be a fantastic kind of a scenario. But come to think of it, the government agenda is getting out 100 million unemployed or providing 100 million employment in 10 years. When you now average it, you are talking of almost 10 million in a year. Going by the statistic of the director NDE, spread it over the period of 3 years, we have 1 million. Look at the snail speed we are with. We hope your own might be 5 million in 3 years. Be it as it may, I am looking at it. This is the government effort. Like I said, it's commendable. We cannot all rely on government. We should also explore other sources, because until and unless we have 10 or 20 agencies that might be able to bring about 500 on the average yearly, we wouldn't achieve this target. Now the inadequacies, that is my concern. We as lawmakers, how do we provide the inadequacies, which is grossly? Now, baffles me when you look at, it is because of our psyche, it is because of our orientation that Nigerians, how skillful we are, yet we don't use it. Are we still living in the era of the petrodollar in the 70s, in the 80s, even when during the time that we went, even at my primary school, I was given allowances to attend primary school. I attended a Roman Catholic Mission primary school. I used to be given some milk, there's some incentive to attend primary 1 to 7. My secondary school days throughout, I used to be given pocket money, transfer money, uniform, setup. I've never used any personal. During Friday or Sundays, we have an outing gown, we have compound dress, we have 2 sets of, name it. What I'm trying to say here is that this is our era. But everybody now can believe that that era is no longer tenable. Now what are we doing? How do we give back to society? How can we change? Because I experimented personally 2007. I gave somebody from a village 5,000 naira as of then. Before 10 years, that person owned 3 commercial vehicles. Now, and he started by doing petty fish business. Go to the river, buy fish, 5,000, bring it to the city, bringing it to the town, then he later start taking it to a cosmopolitan area, let's say Gombe. This person has never get out of Gombe, but within this time period, with the fish business, he was able to attain 3 viable commercial vehicles.
So how do you relate that with employability and self-employment?
That is the issue. I'm trying to change our side, that we are sleeping on wealth. Wealth can be created, generated. We don't have to rely on government to continue dishing out things. Let me even give you my experience as I've been almost 2 or 3 times legislator, right from the state down to the federal. We partner with the executive, the NDE that are there, and then even the women development, I know they are there, but we have an envelope that we do what we call, provide what they call empowerment. But what is the baffling me is that if a member goes there and empowers people, buy this tricycle, sewing machine, whatever you give it to them, the so-called politicians, they are the constituent. The moment you are distributing these articles, there are already off-takers, buyers, that they can sell it at a discounting the price. So the aim ends up to be defeated.
Okay, let me put you on hold there. Gigi, the National Center for Women Development, we saw in one of the reports they're talking about what you have been doing. Will you say you are complementing what government is doing at the flank of NDE in the line of job creation in Nigeria?
Yes, we are doing very well. Like you could see, we are, though I think I would like to give you an insight on what the National Center for Women Development is, because we are not basically just a skill acquisition. We have other things we do to help the government make policy that to be in, to take care of issue of women in the nation. National Center for Women Development, the Center of Excellence for Gender Equality and Sustainable Women Development. Our mandate, first of all, the center was modeled after INSTROI, the United Nations International Research and Training Institute for the advancement of the cause of women. So we are not just a skill acquisition center, but a research center. We embark on a lot of research. First of all, if you provide skills and yet you still have poverty, there is need for you to know why you are not reaching the people. You need to take a lot of research. You need to know, is it that the policies or the implementation is not getting to the grassroots, or just like he has mentioned, at the starter pack cell, at the gate, on, whatever, on receive of those starter pack. So we involve in a lot of research. We host the Nigerian Women Data Bank, that is every information as it pertains to women. If you want to get any information about women, you come to the center. We work in line with Bureau for Statistics and other agencies we collaborate with. We train and documentation. We keep records. An area of our training, or maybe first of all, the area of research.
So in all this, you're looking at job creation.
All this we are looking at it holistically, because if you're creating job, you must follow. You must carry on the research to know, this job, are they really making impact on the life of women or in the life of the Nigeria youth? Just like you mentioned, most times you create this job, you give them starter pack, you give them money, just by your gates, they are off takers to take this thing. So we try to look at this thing in holistic approach, basically by going into research. The center is not just a training institute. We train a lot. We have the research, which is one of our major mandate. We carry research on women health, entrepreneurship, violence against women, and insecurity, women health, and a lot of other aspects of research that we do on paid women on paid care work. And what do you mean by women on paid care work? We talk about employment, creating jobs every day. There are some women who are really contributing to in the nation building, but yet they are not registered in the GDP of the country. For instance, you have a woman, a housewife who is at home, who is working so hard, doing everything, taking care of the baby, taking care of the sick parents, or running the home. All these things are not aggregated into the national GDP. So all our efforts are left on notice. So we try to do research to see how we can bring in their contribution into the fore. And when you come to the area of training, we have a training institute. We have 3 or 4 basic type of training. We have the vocational skill, which is pomade making, soap, interior, outdoor decoration, fashion and design, and a lot of others. We have agro-biz, as we call it. What is agro-biz? We train women on snaring, fish farming, poultry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you don't exhaust it. I'll come to you on the second leg. Now we'll take a couple of reports before then. But before we take those reports, you can be part of the conversation tonight. Our focus is on the National Director of Employment and Job Creation in Nigeria. At some point, our phone lines will be opened and you send in your calls. And our Twitter handle once again is at Tuesday Live NTA. Before we take our reports, let's go to Lagos, where Professor of Economics is waiting. Prof, from the analysis made from Abuja, specifically that of the DG of NDE, the achievements so far over the years, even for the short period he has been in office. Let's look at job creation in Nigeria vis-a-vis the vision behind NDE and entrepreneurship. Where are we with it?
Well, I double as Professor of Economics and Entrepreneurship Development, where I headed the Entrepreneurship Center at Kaduna State University some time now. And the truth is that we have to commend what the National Director of Employment is doing across the various states and local governments in Nigeria with their zonal offices and all that. If you look through some of the activities, you see that they're quite doing a lot. In fact, they have about 30 programs that are currently running across the country with capacity building for their staff and those they want to train. And also to thank the honorable member for what they're doing at the legislative arm of government and also the National Council for Women Development and all that. But the truth of the matter is that I think the focus is job creation. And it goes beyond trying to empower people, giving them money, giving them starter pack and all that. This synergy is quite lacking among government agencies. For instance, you have the SMEDEN, the Small and Medium Scale Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, doing similar thing, not exactly with ND. You have also the National Productivity Center and also the Ministry of Labor and Productivity doing something like that. You have the Federal Ministry of Trade and Industry, and you have the Central Bank, you have the Bank of Industry, you have the Development Bank of Nigeria, who just did something for women a few days ago in Abuja. And when you see all this going and look at the policy frame and focus of government in terms of job creation, for instance, we've mentioned that the government want to create about 100 jobs or bring people out of poverty within the next 10 years. And of course, that can only be done if we empower them, they get employment, they get jobs for themselves. And what we normally say in entrepreneurship is that, why do we want to empower people instead of developing them? So that at the end they can stand on their own. You remember we did the You Win program some years ago and gave people some handouts, some money. Quite a number of them are doing very well, but a number of them went under because some of them don't have the basic skill, the necessary aptitude to run a business. And I want us to note that sometimes there is a disconnection between what is happening globally and what we are currently doing locally in Nigeria. Well, we may be thinking globally, we're acting locally. For instance, just a few weeks ago, months ago, the African Development Bank in Abuja came up with a very elaborate and rich document on creating decent jobs in Africa, targeting over 50 African countries. If you look at that document, you see how rich that document is, and they want to create about 15 jobs. They feel that Africa needs about 15 million jobs across Africa. And here is Nigeria, want to create 10 million jobs within the same 10-year period that African Development Bank is planning, pumping billions of dollars to achieve that. Not only that, the World Bank recently brought out a document on the future of work, how the youth, particularly the Nigerian youth, you can see that we have the potentials. I mean, one of the largest potentialities you can get anywhere in the world. The youth, of course, are our greatest asset that we need to empower. So, well, commending what the National Director of Employment is doing, but we have to know that with almost 35 years of their existence, you find out that we're still operating at, that level that is more at the rudimentary level, whereas the future of job is already going beyond the hands-on experience that we're giving to people across the country. If you go through what is going on in the world now, and for instance, with the African Development, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, Nigeria needs to key itself. And that is why the Ministry of Communication has to re-strategize by bringing digital into its framework so that people will key into the digital economy. Well, if you look at all that ND is doing, well, it is good, empowering, especially in the rural area, especially young graduates that are coming up and all that. But I think we need to empower them with digital skills that will make them to key into the future of work. The future of work as it is, and that's what India is doing, is not going to be crude, rudimentary, and then just mere hands-on. It's a serious brain work that NDE can capitalize on the large youth pool that we have and begin to look at the inner workings, the architecture within its operations, so that they will now begin to develop in conjunction with Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy to see how this youth can be empowered in the now digital age that we're going. For instance, if we go into the 5G economy that is already started in some countries, from this year and next year, you find that that 5G will now put speed into all the activities of human beings all over the world. And if we don't key in now, we don't begin to plan for the future of work, Nigeria will be left behind. Today, India provides a large pool of capacity when it comes to ICT, digital platform, and the rest of them. And so I think the India has done a lot in terms of creating jobs, in terms of empowering people. For instance, within a short period of time, they've done over 1 million. Now, well, that million is good enough. I want to say that the other angle that NDA could look at is the area in terms of skill transfer. If 1 million people can be empowered, and each of those 1 million people can empower another 1 million, you will discover that within the last 3 years that they'll be operating, if we do what they call in construction industry, build, operate, and transfer, you will see that by now, we would have replicated such skill in several other people. The kind of money or the kind of funding they are providing for such people, one would have suggested that such money should be given to people who are already operating businesses, so that they will be trained within those businesses, and those businesses will provide capacity for them. Because if we don't do this apprentice system they do in Igbo land, from one person to the other, one person to the other, replicating this kind of jobs on one person, then transferring it to the other person, you will see that we'll be doing ourselves disservice, because you empower the person, he just go away with it. Government has invested in him, and well, there are so many million others waiting to be employed. And I think the NDA programs can look critically at that. Then the next one is, of course, we just finished the Women's International Day all over. There is the issue of the missing woman in terms of what we are doing, because if you discover the women folks are more vulnerable. If the NDA partner with the National Council for Women Development and see how that missing woman or missing women can be integrated and bring that inclusive strategy to see so that a number of them will be taken out of poverty, a number of them will be taken out of lack and out of joblessness. So you will see that, I see that they are trying to do that with power and other forms of women, and I saw that the last work they did with, is it Police Officers, Women, Wife Association, and the rest of them, I look at it, I saw that that was very good and all that. But there's still much to be done. We are not trying to say that they are not doing much, but I believe that they could re-strategize. They could go back to the drawing board and re-strategize their focus, so that in the next chapter, the short period of time, they'll be able to impact more people than hitherto. And I want to believe that if they change strategy a bit to key into the digital economy, more youth will be empowered, and they will be earning, foreign currency, even without living anywhere, living where they are abiding or where they are staying or where they are living. So I want to suggest that the National Directorate of Employment and the National Council of Women Development should look critically on the digital aspect of job creation that the world is heading to. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Quite incisive there, and I believe the DG was nodding over here. Now, you can be part of the conversation tonight. Our Twitter handle is open at Tuesday Live NTA, and also at some point, the phone lines will be displayed on the screen. And please, when you put in your call, turn down the volume of your television set to avoid the holdback. We'll take some reports now to sustain the conversation. First, our first port of call is Calabar, Cross River State.
Job creation and youth empowerment are some of the priority areas of the federal government's next level agenda. Agencies such as Industrial Training Fund under the National Industrial Skills Development Program has trained and is still training youths in Cross River State. The youths have been trained in welding and fabrication, catering and event management, tiling production and furnishing for exterior and interior decorations, furniture making and auto gele, as well as cosmetics production. The trainees are not left alone. They have startup packs to achieve self-reliance, but some challenges confront them.
The capacity of ITF cannot really do too much, but with collaboration from the states, you understand me, and other politicians who can buy more startup packs, we can do more. So that is number one way we can empower youths.
My encouragement is that Cross River State and the government should come in, like sort of an emergency situation to arrest this. We are not unfortunate on the issues of drug-related matters, but youth. If you look around, you see a lot of them, they are youth. There's hope, and then I think the country will do better.
Experts say collaboration among agencies of government, non-governmental organizations, corporate organizations, as well as well-meaning Nigerians could open up avenues for job creation to Nigerian youths.
Next port of call after Calabar, let's go to Sokoto for an update.
The skills acquisition programs of the National Directorate of Employment is assisting towards repositioning the youth to be self-dependent. It is already putting smiles on the faces of young entrepreneurs in Sokoto State.
We learned about how to sew, how to knit, everything. We are training how to do businesses or anything. You can take care of yourself.
3 months is usually enough for them to be trained. Yes, the basic rudiments of fashion design and knitting.
The trainings are continuous effort by the federal government to curb the growing rate of unemployment in the state. Trainees are given opportunity to choose a trade to be trained. A few weeks ago, another set of 230 women graduated and were empowered with working tools and cash to enhance their micro-entrepreneurship.
For the vocational skills, generally youths of secondary school background and of recent we have graduates that want to learn these skills and we allow them to learn. But for SSE, small scale enterprises, there too, there's a balance. There are programs for graduates and there are programs we call BBT, Basic Business Training, also for running businesses, which is done for artisans and those that are not having the graduate qualification.
Sokoto State Government Job Creation Programs under Ministry for Social Welfare and Zakat Commission are other avenues to reduce unemployment among youth.
That's that. We should get to other centers in the course of the program. Well, we'll take some tweets at some point, and also the phone lines are now open. But back in Abuja, DG, from Lagos, Professor Akutsun's raised a lot of issues and is tailored and in line with some of the things you're doing. But from his perspective, it looks as he's saying you need to rejig, because the tall order by the present administration says 100 million jobs in 10 years. He's looking at how do we get there, even ahead of 10 years. Now, skills transfer, thinking globally and acting locally, future of work, not the crude type, but looking at this perspective, where are we heading?
Well, first and foremost, let me thank Prof for his vision and for his advice and for his focus as far as job creation is concerned. You see, what I said initially, I just pick one out of the 4 departments we have in NDE, and that is vocational skill development. Under that mega basic national open apprentice scheme, where we engage a lot of young men and women at the national level. We also have mega ANOS from B to A. That is to do with the training. As I've said before, out of the first number we took, 70% we took women because we believe women are more vulnerable. And we trained them on what we call cosmetology. It involves how to make liquid soap, solid soap, Izal, detergent, car wash, shampoo, and the rest of them. It is shorter in terms of training because it's addition of 1, 2, 3 chemicals to come up with a product. And a lot of them were engaged. And if you have people that are producing, the more they produce, there will be more in the market. And by the time the market becomes saturated, they'll be discouraged. And that's the reason why we took it open ourselves. Whatever they produce, we buy directly from them, sell to NEMA, National Commission for the Refugee, so that they can give it out. By so doing, we are encouraging them to produce more. We even went to export promotion. I talked to my good friend Shogun Awolowo, and he told us to engage a very good consultant who is good at packaging, because we are even thinking of exporting this items to West African sub-region. And that is A knowers, B knowers under vocational skill development. When we take the other department, Special Public Works, I tell you, my brother, you can bear me witness from Yanyan to Asokoro Junction to Aso Drive Junction, Wuse Market Junction, even this junction at area 11 up to Guagua, you see a lot of young men with their working tools. I took it upon myself to get across to most of the multinationals like Gilmo, RCC, Dori and Dori, Julius Berger, Mothercard, because we have a lot of big projects taking place within and outside Abuja. I went to them, I told them, I said, look, this is my job, and this is what I'm supposed to do, the mandate given to me by the government. We have a lot of young men with their working tools without anything to do. I can guarantee them so that you can have them engaged. As I'm talking to you, we encourage them to form small cooperative societies within where they normally stand, and most of them are engaged. Some of them have even moved from casual to permanent staffs. That is under Special Public Works. Apart from other training we do in Special Public Works, like environmental beautification, renewable energy, and the rest of them.
Before we conclude, our first caller is on already. Peter. Peter is calling in from Lagos. Hello, Peter. Hello, Peter. Okay, it looks we lost that call. You can conclude before we take one or two tweets.
Then the third department is SSE, Small Scale Enterprise. This is the department that we normally use in terms of giving soft loans to people so that they can start their own business. As I'm talking to you, we have a program called 50 under 35. We are trying to create 50 young entrepreneurs that are not more than 35 years, some with existing businesses, some with credible ideas, so that we can make it 50 of them in each of the 109 senatorial zone, so that we can make it easy for them to access loan, so that they can add up to their businesses, so that they can be employees of labor.
Okay, let's hear from Peter. Peter is back online. Hello, Peter. Go ahead.
Hello, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah. This is Peter from Lagos.
Go ahead.
Although I'm very, very happy with this topic that you introduced. Now, the problem we are having, we don't have sustainable development plan. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah. We don't have a sustainable development plan as regards to the youth development. Mr. The chairman for the youth development, all of them, they benefited, direct benefit from government. Somebody planned their time. But now, nobody ready to plan the future of present youth. All what we have in Nigeria planning is book and paper documentation. And when it comes to the issue of reality, it's zero. They use everything for themselves. They don't care to monitor all those money spent by government from 1 naira to 2 naira, from 2 naira to 3 naira. They just document everything on paper. Like now, if you go to Aba, if you from one shop to Aba, from one shop to the other, even some warehouses, they are producing there, day in, day out, night and day, and they are using youths to do that. And all their products, they are labeling it foreign label, not Nigerian label. All these things is frustrating our system. And more so, because to what the professor just said, it's true and fact. We should not be depending or training or say we are empowering without development. What we need is a real development from the real economic system. Now, everybody know how to make soap, everybody know how to make one or two things, but when they sustain, all these things is rubbish. We are wasting our time, we are wasting our effort. Instead, the professor said something about the technology. He said something about the global the computer economy. Nothing has been done up till now. We have a lot of youth there. They call them what they call it, the Yahoo boys. All those boys being paraded by police. Get them, assemble them one way, one place, train them on that area. They'll be useful for the system. That's one. And then another way, the NYC, what your commissioner has been doing